another special guest. He's right here in the studio, and it's Jim Hansen. He's owner of a franchise called Seniors Helping Seniors, and I have to say that that whole idea of seniors helping seniors, I've always said that years ago, Jim. I've always said that if you live in these big condos and you like to cook, you make soup, you do something, look down the hallway. See if there are a couple of people that need that, or if you drive people. I mean, this is long before I knew you, or before we had a lot of companion services here in South Florida. I always said so many people can help each other. That would be a wonderful life, wouldn't it?
It would be. I mean, it's the sad thing is that people seem to close their doors and not open them. So it's this is why we decided that we needed to have a service like ours.
Right. And Jim Hansen really told me all about Seniors Helping Seniors, it's such a unique idea. Why don't you share with our audience actually what your company does?
Well, first, thanks for having me in today.
It's my pleasure.
Seniors Helping Seniors is a non-medical in-home service company, and what we do is we're a little unique in the industry because what we have found is by hiring the active senior in the community and then putting them and matching them to the senior that wants to remain independent in their own home but needs a little help from a friend, that peer-to-peer relationship makes a real special bond and makes a difference. It's just not about the service, it's about the relationship. And that relationship makes a difference. So we put meaning and purpose back in the life of a senior that's retired, that society has sort of said, we don't need you anymore. And they're sort of cast aside. And you and I know, Anita, how much they're filled with wisdom and life.
And stories.
And stories, yes. And that's one of the keys right there. With our seniors today, you want to have somebody that knows who Frank Sinatra was. You want to have somebody that knows about World War II and what was going on and the stories that they can relate to. And, not that a 25-year-old can't be sympathetic and loving and compassionate, but they don't have the empathy. They don't have the ability to connect. They don't have the ability to have some of those same issues under their own belt. And so they know what it's like. And what I look for in the people that are our caregivers, and we call them providers because they're providers of service. And what I look for is a volunteer heart that doesn't mind getting paid.
A volunteer heart that doesn't mind getting paid. That's good, Jim. Well, I was thinking as you were talking, Rich Allen, who is our board operator and a friend and helps me think through a lot of our the events we're doing. We were talking about the FAU campus, and he said that when he first came here, he saw what looked like a runway before it really, I guess, before anything was built there in World War II. They must have used that for something. But, there's all this history that probably people here in South Florida know, and you can't talk to just everybody about that. And it goes on. And so I like the idea that, people will also listen. If you're an older adult, you will listen a lot easier than I think a young person.
Yeah. I'll tell you just a story because you brought that up, but Boca Community Church on 4th Avenue, that was a top secret area back during World War II because it was this thing called radar, and they developed the radar, and that was their training center for radar to be able to do that. So
now that's funny.
Yeah. So that's a
very few people know that. I think
very few people probably know that. Yeah.
But you've lived here a long time, haven't you?
I moved down here eight years ago. I was up from Connecticut, and my background was I was the caregiver for my own grandmother, for my own father, for my own mother, for my aunt. So I saw how the one person could make a difference in somebody else's life, and I got a lot of satisfaction. And I wasn't doing, one of the beauties about Seniors Helping Seniors is we do all non-medical things. So I didn't need a degree or a special, diploma to do the things I did. But I did all the things that family members do today. I took my grandmother shopping. I took her to the grocery store. I took her. She, who knew how smart she was? She didn't believe in banks, so so I had to. And how profound is that in today's world? But so I had to take her to pay her bills, and she wanted to always use either a money order or cash because she didn't believe in checks, and she kept all of her money, the old under the mattress type of person. But it was amazing to see what my little activities with her, and it was only a few hours a week, but it was enough to allow her to live independently until she was 96 years of age.
Oh, that is so wonderful. And you really hit the right key there. That instead of trying to dissuade her that no, you should have checks, you have credit cards, you went along with what she wanted to do.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think your companions, I was thinking, so when I need you, if I ever need you, make sure they know how to make soup because I love soup.
That's right. Yes, soup is wonderful. You can. The one beautiful thing about soup is you can throw anything in a pot, add a little water, and you've got a soup.
It's true.
Yeah.
The more you throw in there, the better it is. But just all kidding aside, when you do hire people and you are looking for a couple, let's do this.
Sure.
You're looking, of course, for people who want help in their home, companions.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, you're always looking for the kind of person you described to work for the company.
Right. Well, let me sort of paint the picture of who I look for. Like I said, I look for that volunteer heart that doesn't mind getting paid for. We're looking for loving, caring, compassionate people that have already taken care of a loved one, people that might have had to take care of their spouse or their mother or their sister or their brother. So, it's all the things that we had to do to take care of them, to allow them to stay independent of their home.
They did for us, Jim.
Yes.
That's what people forget.
Yes. And that's what it's all about. And so, obviously we do all the things that we're supposed to do. We've got to do criminal background checks. We're making sure that all of our people are bonded, and we make sure that we're insured, and we're licensed, obviously, by the state. But, we just, the key is I look for people that are not in it for so much the money, but doing it because they want to pay it forward. My ideal person is the one that says, I just want to do this because I'm hoping that there'll be somebody like me when I get to be that age that can help me the same way.
But Jim, you know better than probably most, that also makes that person live better themselves, live longer because they're vital.
Yes.
Instead of just being retired, playing golf, doing things. I mean, I have nothing against golf, but not every day.
No. And the key to it for both sides, one of our taglines and one of our registered trademarks is a way to give and a way to receive. And so with us, the person that's providing the care, they're the ones that are, giving, but yet they receive. They receive the satisfaction of knowing that they made a difference in someone else's life. And then when they have to go do the caregiving the next time, they have something to look forward to. And that's one of the keys, as you probably know, Anita. Our seniors just want to have something to look forward to. A lot of them are lonely. They just want to be able to have meaning and purpose back in their life. And this gives a wonderful opportunity to do that. And the things that we do are simple things. We do light housekeeping, laundry, meal preparation, errands, taking them to the doctors, things of that nature. So it doesn't require a lot of skill set. It just requires a lot of love.
Okay, and one thing, we're going to come back. I want to just give you information about Jim Hansen and how you can get in touch with him. We're going to come back, and I'd love you to tell the story of the founder. I was so mesmerized when you told me about Kiran Yokum, because it says it's such a beautiful story. So I'll be right back. I want you to tell them, but let me tell people about you. Of course, I'm Anita Finley. You're listening to the Boomer Time Show, and Jim Hansen is the owner of the franchise Seniors Helping Seniors in South Palm Beach County. The way to get in touch with him, though, is you can go to the website, which is called seniorshelpingseniors.com, or you can call his office at 561-392-4846. 392-4846. And if you have your February issue, the hard issue, You'll see him on page 6. We don't actually have a picture of you. What happened there? We have to get a picture of you in our
We
next
have our
one.
beautiful founder's picture.
I know
So,
you do. Yes, she is, and it's
Yes.
beautiful. And all right, so let me give you that time to talk a little bit about why you joined this company. And I'm going to tell just a second about you because you have been a businessman and you have been a very successful businessman. And here you are now into this national senior franchise. So why don't you explain that to everyone?
Well, Seniors Helping Seniors, I came across this company at a show in Miami. It was at the Miami franchise show. And it was a very fascinating thing to be able to find out. Karen Yoakum and Seniors Helping Seniors was at the show. And I actually had an opportunity to meet her. And it was a great opportunity to just get to know a little bit about her. What's fascinating about Seniors Helping Seniors and our founder is that she was raised in royalty from India. And when she was at the age of 7, she actually was able to get an allowance. And that allowance was something that she didn't really need. So she asked her driver, can I donate this? And when she went, she donated it, and she did this from age 7 to age 14. And finally, the people that she was donating the money from came out and said, "We want to meet this person that's donating the money." And
This was in India.
This was in India. And so a nun came out and said, "You wait right here." And she went back in, and she brought out Mother Teresa. And Mother Teresa and Karen became fast, actually mentor-mentee. Mother Teresa actually mentored Karen for the next 14 years. So Karen worked for Mother Teresa for 14 years in India.
Amazing.
And took care of the indigent and everything. And actually, Karen was Hindu, and Mother Teresa actually converted her to Christianity. So it's a fascinating story. So what drew me to Seniors Helping Seniors was that this was not just a company that had a business model. This was a company that used taglines like "a way to give and receive," "the power of love," "why not love?" So love and compassion and meaning and purpose, which were all driven by the teachings of Mother Teresa to Karen, actually ended up becoming a real foundation to our company. So, because of my caring and the things that I did with my parents and my grandmother, actually even my grandfather lived with us until he passed. So,
And he's the one that lived to be 9.
no, my grandmother lived until she was 96. My grandfather, unfortunately, at a fairly young age, had a stroke. But, it was back in those days. Again, there's the difference. This was back in the early 60s when family members took family members in. There was no question, like my parents took my grandfather in, and he lived with us. And it was a great opportunity because now there was 3 generations living in the house. You don't see that anymore.
That's
Yes.
Dr. Mencia. He had to jump in here because he couldn't stand it because he's like that. Your grandfather lived to be
109.
Oh, wow.
So it was 3 or
From
4
Hawaii.
generation
Oh, that is
together.
tremendous.
Yes.
Wow.
And you're right. You don't see that now. You
don't.
see sometimes the immediate sibling don't want to be bothered.
Yeah. And unfortunately today, the society is so mobile. Kids, unfortunately, I have children that are in Ohio and in Connecticut, and my grandchildren are there, and so we're disconnected.
I have a
because-
sister that live in Germany. So
Okay,
we're all
so
over.
you understand. Yeah. It's a very mobile society today, and the roots aren't there. Multifamily homes now there's 3 different families. It used to be grandparents, parents,
Exactly.
children. Now it's 3
I
strange
remember
families.
in Hawaii, your kids will get married, so they will take part of the land that you already own, and they will build a house right next to you.
Wonderful.
And you'll see like a small family community developing right around you.
That is really very common in Europe. I mean, people do that. They find when it's almost like a dowry, okay, you're going to go live there. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's not so good. You don't know. But Jim, you of course were very successful with Subway, being a franchise.
Yeah.
Running a lot of that, and then for you to come, this is so opposite.
It is and it isn't.
Oh.
Because Subway is a service organization. It's all about taking care of the customer. I used to have a sign in my restaurant that said, take care of the customer or someone else will.
That is so true.
And, so this is very similar. It's take care of the senior or somebody else will. But we do it in such a way that is very unique. I spent 38 years with Subway. When it started,
Wow.
There was only 12 restaurants in the company, and I helped to grow the company to there are over 40,000 restaurants now. So
40
Is that all?
that's all.
Is that what you think you're going to do with seniors, helping seniors?
Well, I do. My goal is I'm the development master license holder here for the state of Florida, and our goal is to make sure that we have the whole community of Florida taken care of by seniors helping seniors. So we're about halfway to my goal. We've got 30 locations throughout Florida. We're looking to put 62 in southern Florida. And
so, Dr. Messier, you and I ought to get one of these franchises.
Yes. It sounds like right down my alley.
Yes, it is. And I was glad that, that you're here and Jim's here, because I heard about Jim a long time ago. And this is, and I know that I was telling him a little bit about you, as a matter of fact, when I first met him, and said that it's a rare physician who does home visits. And he said he couldn't believe it. And also, for doctors to be open on Saturdays. But Dr. Mencia lives, breathes, eats his profession. And
customer service.
Yeah, customer service.
Yeah.
And that's what we talked about. But, Dr. Mencia, the thing that you didn't hear this, but Jim was saying, it's the older people who come in, and, of course, you allow them to talk and you allow them to listen to the stories. But when they're at home alone for, days, and they can only see you one day, and here they are alone all the time, and they need that nourishment. I call it nourishment of someone to listen, to be there, to hold their hand. They're scared. They're nervous. I mean, people have no idea what it's like to now be alone.
Well, as I've been in this business, what I've learned is as we age, our world shrinks. And that's the challenge, because, I'm just turning 60. I can't do the things I used to do. I don't want to drive at night because, especially if it's raining, because I don't see as well as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I used to be an avid racquetball player, and I can't do those things any longer because my knees won't allow me to. And then what happens is our seniors, all of a sudden, their friends start to pass. Relatives start to move away.
The losses are horrible.
And then all of a sudden, the children come in and say, Mom and Dad, you got to give up your keys. You
Right.
can't drive your car anymore.
Right.
Now
Right.
their world shrinks even more. And then they lose their spouse, and now the world shrinks. So the only bastion of memories.
And their independence, because when you used to drive,
Yeah.
you will go to your doctor appointment, you will go to the pharmacy and pick up your prescription, you go to the supermarket and get your food. Now they take your keys away. All of that will be gone.
All
You
that's
have
gone.
to depend on somebody else to do it for you.
And it's so disheartening. And it's because think about it. When we were 16, that was the greatest gift we got. Was our gift, our freedom. And
My
now,
two daughters, they got their license on their birthday. Both of them, they went through the internet, which when I was growing up, we didn't have that. They
course.
went through the internet and they started taking the test and what have you. And right on their birthday, they came to Daddy, let's go and pick up my driver license.
But am I wrong in saying, though, that the car for a man, when he has to give that up, is, I think, a lot different than for a woman, because now there are a lot of things in his life that aren't working the same way or
Right.
overworking. And now the one thing that it shows who he is, you're taking his car away.
Yeah.
Isn't it harder for a man?
It's
I'm
very-
just
yes.
asking both of you.
and none of us want to admit that we're bad drivers. And that's the challenge too, because it becomes with the family, and that's one of the hardest talks. Is how do I tell Mom or Dad that I've got to take the keys away, because now it's becoming a danger issue versus, the other.
I do have to just tell everybody, because they say, please, you don't give out the phone numbers enough. Okay, we're going to do it again. This is Jim Hansen. He's owner of Franchise Seniors, helping seniors in South Palm Beach County. The office number is 561-392-4846. That's 561-392-4846. And his website is seniorshelpingseniors.com. If you want to email him, it's jimhelpingseniors@att.net. jimhelpingseniors@att.net. So, Jim, let me ask you a question. You're looking for seniors to work for the organization, as well as if anybody needs a companion to call you.
Yeah, I mean, the ideal. Here's the situation. You'll be out and about, and you'll hear somebody saying, "I got to take mom to the doctors again. I'm going to have to give up another day of work. How am I going to keep doing this?" I call it not a pun with Subway, but it's the sandwich generation, right? It's the people that are taking care of their aging parents, but yet they're also taking care of their own children. So they're caught in the middle of that sandwich, and it's a real struggle for them to be able to do that. So what our company does is we lift the burdens of those family members. We're able, and that's one of the keys. Our seniors don't want to be a burden to their family. They really don't. So the hardest thing, though, is for them to ask for assistance. And I tell people, independence doesn't mean that you can't, it means that you don't. Independence isn't that you can't do things that you want to do. Independence means that you do the things that you want, and you can still give instructions to others to do the things that you no longer, want to do. Yeah. Who wants, we'll do the laundry for you. People have, problems with taking their sheets on and off. It's real easy for us. We'll bundle the services. We'll come at your house in the morning. We'll get you ready to go to your doctor's appointment, but then we'll throw a load of laundry in the washing machine. And then as we're coming back from the doctor's, we'll stop, pick up your prescriptions. We'll go to the grocery store. We'll put the groceries away. We'll throw your laundry in the dryer, and then we'll prepare a couple of meals for you so that you don't have to worry about that. You can do the things that you want to do. So we can do a lot of things in a very short period of time that can make a huge difference, not only for the senior, but also for the family members.
So I want to ask you this. So can a woman who wants a companion have a male?
They can.
You see, I have to always do this. So Dr. Mincy always laughs at me because I always bring a little. I'm not talking about sex. I'm just talking about a companion.
A companion.
Because let's say a woman has had a husband, and so he will do laundry and he will cook and he will do the same things.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies, this is your opportunity. Do you have a lot of male companions?
We always need more
So
males
we
than we
need
do.
more males?
We need more males.
High demand. Finally.
Finally. Oh, and so
there is hope for us.
Hey. He's a handyman, right? Handyman.
And we do handymans too. We're a one-stop shop. We have people that, as long as you don't need a permit, we have people that are part of our organization. So if you need light bulbs changed, or if you need a light switch changed.
You didn't tell me this. This is a whole new thing.
Yeah.
So people who need to have a handyman come, they'll call you?
They can call us, and we'll we'll get that done as well. So.
And painting? Would you have someone paint the
apartment?
apartment?
As long as we don't have people climbing really tall ladders, but but we can do little things. So anything that's going to make your life a little bit easier in your house.
But you see, and as you said, you're insured. Everything is so responsible.
Yes.
That's what's important. Be very careful, everyone. So, Seniors Helping Seniors, Jim Hansen, this is great. And Jim, why don't you mention something about the Alzheimer's? I thought that would be a good time.
Yeah, I got asked to be on the committee for the upcoming Alzheimer's Walk in Boca. It's going to be in September 27th. But in the meantime, what we are doing is a number of fundraisers during the course of the year. And I really would like to just let everybody know that we're doing at the Boca West Country Club. So we're trying to make this a very nice, high-end affair. We have Lord & Taylor's coming to put on a fashion show by some of the more prominent people in the community. And we also have a wonderful speaker, Dr. David Watson, who is is got done a lot of. He's a trial researcher for Alzheimer's itself. Is over 15 years dealing with clinical research for Alzheimer's. He's going to be the keynote speaker. So there'll be a lot of education there as well. And then we're having a silent auction. So to help raise money for this cause. We really, Florida has got so many seniors, but we're lagging behind a lot of these other states that do such awesome jobs with their walks. So, and we can hold a walk any time of year here.
Exactly.
So
we can have four a year.
Yeah. So, the date of that is, again, March 27th. It's from 11:30 to 1:30. If anybody's interested, just have them contact my email or our office, and we'll give more information.
Right, that's wonderful. Well, I just read somewhere there someone has asked the Senate to start putting up some large amounts of money for Alzheimer's. And, if it affects their family member, that's how it's going to happen, right?
No,
it's going to
absolutely.
affect everybody.
Yeah, we just had a fundraiser for Alzheimer's, again, the walk, this past Wednesday, and I would recommend that all of your listeners, if they get an opportunity, the movie is called Still Alice.
Yeah, I want to see that.
And
I definitely want to see
powerful
Still.
movie.
Yep.
Julianne Moore does a great job, and it really shows. What I loved about the movie, even though it was so gripping, is showing the struggles that she had as a person. So,
Sure.
And this is something that we take care of
Yeah.
as well. Because most of the Alzheimer's, especially early onset and up to moderate problems, our companion care, they only need companion and some things of
They
that
do,
nature.
just to make sure that they don't get in trouble with anything.
So we're able to help in
Well,
that
thank
area.
you so much, and I do want to really wish you lots of good luck. We look forward to your next article, and I wish I could meet this Kiran one time. She sounds like she's...
We'll get her on the radio.
Yeah. Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
She's quite a woman, so thank you. Okay, well, we'll be back right after the news with Dr. Mencia and the wonderful world of wellness.